Walmart will not accept me. If I wasn't doing shit with brands on side shift, I would be living in a ditch. I'd be dead. I would be dead. Because even if I got a job, it probably wouldn't even pay me enough.
She can't get a job at Walmart. It's gotten that bad that somebody with a bachelor's degree, master's degree, can't get a simple job at Walmart. Let's break it down. Hello, YouTube. Hope you guys are having a wonderful, lovely day. We're back here with another video. We're going to be reacting to people's experiences in the job market, people sharing how they feel about what they're going through, their stories, and all that good stuff. But before we begin today, we're going to be having a quote as usual. And the quote goes like this: Missing good opportunities is often more expensive than occasionally making wrong decisions. This quote basically talks about your mindset. You have two spectrums. You have a poor mindset, you have a rich mindset. You have a mindset of abundance, you have a mindset of scarcity. The person with the mindset of abundance, they can look and say, okay, I can invest $100,000 or maybe $1 million into 10 properties. And surely one of those properties will get me at least 50% on my return on investment. But the person with the mindset of scarcity would be like, if I invest that 1 million in those 10 properties, what if like I make a mistake, or what if I have to evict somebody, or one of them isn't profitable, or I just end up buying a wrong house and then I lose my whole life savings. See, when you operate in a mindset of abundance, it allows you to have the freedom to try new things out. Many people, they are afraid of trying new things out because they are scared of making a mistake. Many people, they don't want to try new things out because they're scared of making a mistake. They're scared of looking stupid. They're scared of feeling like a beginner. And most importantly, they're afraid of the unknown. For example, let's talk about crypto, specifically Bitcoin. Those people who knew about it like in 2010, 2015, before it exploded like around 2018, 2020, there was surely a good couple dozen of people who had the opportunity to invest $1,000. They were presented this opportunity maybe by a friend, maybe by the news, and they could have invested $1,000, but they were scared that if I invest this $1,000, I'm gonna lose it. And they missed that opportunity because they didn't want to make the occasional wrong choices when it comes to investing. A lot of times when people are in survival mode, when you're in survival mode, or you're living paycheck to paycheck, living in poverty, what happens a lot of times is that you would rather keep your money to yourself. Any resource, you rather keep it to yourself. You rather keep your money in your bank account as opposed to putting it in stocks where it can earn interest. You put in your Chase bank account, your US bank account, your Bank of America bank account, and it's earning next to nothing when it comes to interest. You'd rather have that than in a 401k, in HSA, put it in stocks and bonds and equities, put it in some type of investment vehicle, an IRA Roth account. You'd rather choose to just keep that money to yourself because you're afraid of making the wrong decision. Basically, don't let the fear of making the wrong decision rob you from taking a life-changing opportunity. I'll say it again. Don't let the fear of making the wrong decision rob you of taking a life-changing opportunity. There's many people who regret not investing even $100 in crypto and Bitcoin when it was next to nothing. They're like, oh my God, I could have been a millionaire today. I would have been living well. And it's because they had a mindset of scarcity. They had a mindset of poverty. And that's why a lot of the times people who come from affluent backgrounds end up succeeding well, because their mind tells them that, oh, my stocks are going down. Oh, I could buy more stocks. And somebody as opposed to who didn't grow up in that background will be like, oh my God, I'm losing my money. I got to pull out. I got to take all my money back. And you see how those two mindsets clash. That's all for this quote. Let's hop right into the video.
No one's going to want to hear this, but I did not get my high paying job because of my degrees. I never had a hiring manager one time say, I hired you because of your degrees. Even when I interview candidates, I wasn't really looking at their education. I would look at it, but it was not influencing my decision. I got to where I'm at, particularly starting my career pivot by gaining some type of experience and then selling that experience on my resume and in person in interviews. And along the way to where I'm at now, LinkedIn played a role. And in my most current role, it's a combination of experience plus connections. I'm not saying that education is not important. It really is, particularly when we're talking about university education. I would just say my degrees are not tied directly to my compensation. There have just been other benefits indirectly. And some of you asked what my degrees are in. I did share my post-graduate degree on my profile, but just to share it all with you, I have a master's in business administration, a bachelor's in mass comm media production,
Oh, that's
and a
pretty cool.
bachelor's in
That's pretty
Spanish.
cool.
I just
She
got a
has a diverse collection of degrees and experiences, I assume. Yeah, but let's break it down again. Your degree, I'll say what she didn't want to say. Your degree doesn't matter. Okay, let me specify it. For the first 5 years of your work professional life, if you like choose to go to college, enter like the corporate white collar space, even like some blue collar jobs as well, like if we consider certifications in schooling. For the first 5 years, your degree matters. But after that, nobody cares. Nobody cares at all. Nobody's gonna be like, did you go to Harvard or did you go to Stanford? Nobody cares. They just want to look at what you've done. What value have you added to the companies you've been at in those 5 years you've been in the workforce? Unless you're really looking for an entry level role, your degree doesn't play as much as an impact as you think it does. That's why a lot of people are against getting a master's degree. Unless there's a very specific reason you want to get a master's degree or you want to do a career pivot, most people don't see the value in getting it. And I completely wholeheartedly understand why they don't, because the way it plays is like basically this is how it is. It's the first 5 years of your career experience, 80% of it is predicated off of your schooling, the brand name of your schooling, what like jobs, internships you did while in school. Those what really matters. I'll call it even just the first 2 3 years, and then the next job you get after that, if that's within a 5 year period. And then after that, 80% of it is like, okay, what have you done? Like, what are your skills? What value can you bring in? They'd be like, oh, you have a degree. Ah, that's nice. Ah, you went to Cornell. Ah, that's pretty cool. How was that? Ah, no problem. Ah, you seem like a cool guy. Yeah, you got the job. That's just how it is. You know, more often they care about what you're doing, how you're impacting the company, and sometimes where you're working at. Like if you work in like some big name companies like Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Google, all of the name words, like industry leaders in your industry. Another thing she talked about was LinkedIn. LinkedIn is very good for networking. I know people don't like LinkedIn in its current state nowadays. I can definitely understand. It's LinkedIn 5 years ago is not the same LinkedIn we have today. Even LinkedIn 3 years ago is not the same LinkedIn we have today. It's just a reflection of our change in society. But nonetheless, it is still great for networking, meeting new people, building connections, as well as landing interviews. People, recruiters might reach out to you, you might connect with somebody, be like, hey, you know, I actually have this role open at my job that I think you'd be a great fit for. And then before you know it, the stars align. You land that interview, and then once you land that interview, you have to sell yourself like your life depends on it. Because if you are not your greatest, biggest fan, who is going to cheer for you? You understand? If you're not selling yourself like you're the best thing since sliced bread, who is going to do that for you? And you just have to do that. And that's why a lot of the times extroverts end up excelling in the workforce and excelling in interviews compared to introverts, because they just know how to connect with people. They know how to talk to people. They know how to give good vibes and make people like them. And that's basically what an interview is. Do I want to be next to you? Do I want to work with you? Are you competent enough? Are you like not stupid? Do I have to hold your hand? past like the first 6 months of the job. Like, do you even know how to do this? That's what an interview is for. It's just for a pulse check to see if what's on paper match with what's looking in front of me. And yeah, that's just how it is in the corporate environment and even other environments as well too. Not so much as in the retail environment. Some retail places, some warehouse jobs will hire you if you have a pulse in the stand. So yeah, that's just it.
I just got rejected from Walmart as a cashier. What the fuck is so wrong with the job market that I have a bachelor's degree? Not only do I have a bachelor's degree, I spent 4 years on a bachelor's. I went back to school because, I mean, go get your master's, go get further education. That'll really get you a spot in the job market solidified. There's no way it won't because America tells you, oh yes, college will get you that job. Don't you worry, miss. Walmart will not accept me. If I wasn't doing shit with brands on side shift, I would be living in a ditch. I'd be dead. I would be dead. Because even if I got a job, it probably wouldn't even pay me enough. Guys, what are we doing? What are we doing to make money right now? Spill me the secret sauce. Because I am absolutely serious that if I wasn't doing UGC that anyone could do, I'd be dead.
She can't get a job at Walmart. It's gotten that bad that somebody with a bachelor's degree, master's degree, can't get a simple job at Walmart. Let's break it down. What happens is a lot when you're growing up, you told, or what I said, sold this narrative or this lie that all you need to be successful is you just need to go to school, get a degree, work super hard, and then they'll be knocking at your door to hand you a job, sometimes a six-figure job. Once you experience reality, you see that, oh, no, that's not how it is, actually. It's a little bit tougher. And what happens most of the time is actually your experience far, 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 far outweighs all the degrees you have. You can collect degrees like you're collecting Pokemons. You can get degrees in astrophysics, chemistry, a degree in alchemy, whatever degree in underwater basket weaving. You could get 20 degrees, but if you don't have any experience to back it up, nobody's gonna hire you. That's the main point. I don't think she really made it clear like how much experience she has in whatever industry she's looking for, and that could probably be the reason why she can't find a job. Another thing that's at play as well is that Walmart, they don't want to hire you. Walmart, they don't want to hire you. Why? Because they know that you just want to work for them for as long as you need them. And then as soon as the job you want come knocking at your door, what are they gonna do? What are you gonna do? You're gonna leave them. And what does that mean for the company? That means that they have to go and restart the whole hiring process from the beginning. And they don't want to do that. They'd rather pick Joe Schmo off the street and be like, hey, you got a pulse? Okay. You know how to count money? Oh, you got any background? You got a criminal history? Oh, you don't? Okay. Oh, yeah, come on here. You can go. And that's usually how it is. Another thing that's interesting, too, is that and she's complaining that she can't get a job at Walmart, but she wasn't trained to be a cashier. I'm not sure if she even has retail experience. Sometimes they prefer people who have retail experience as well. And just with those things stacking up against you, it just makes it super hard. And with degree inflation as well being a part of the equation, it makes it hard for you to get a job. And for those who don't know what degree inflation is, it's basically that as time went on, companies got more stricter, or would I say more selective with the hiring. When it was around your parents' times or even your grandparents' times, some of them they even need to have a high school degree. Some of them sometimes you need a high school degree to work at a fast food restaurant, to work at a grocery store. And then as more people started going to college, as more people started going for higher education, companies kind of like, wait a minute. You telling me that I can get someone who is well educated to work for me and I can pay them pennies, oh snap, I might do that. And then now some companies are requiring that you have a 4-year degree. You go to Starbucks, a barista probably has a degree in biochemistry, a degree in poli sci, astrophysics, a degree in engineering or something like that. And you're like, wait, why? You shouldn't be here. You should be probably in a chemical lab or something like that. You should be working with NASA. And it doesn't make sense. And that's just degree inflation. There's a lot of what we call underemployment that's going on in our day and age. And it's super unfortunate that that's just the way society has evolved it to. That's just the way our economy, the job market has evolved to.
I had 4
That's
degrees
what I
and
mean.
couldn't find a
4
job.
degrees.
I
I said you
wound up
can collect degrees and stack them like you playing Pokemon. Pokemon Red, Pokemon Blue, whatever. And you still struggle to find a job. Doesn't make sense logically, but you have to play by the rules of not what you want, but what the market is saying. Let's continue now.
working the opening shift,
See,
4:30 a.m.
that doesn't make
at a
sense.
gym
How
because
are you a well-educated, intelligent person? And that this is not to knock any people that work those like jobs like at gyms, fast food, minimum wage jobs. But how are you a well-educated, probably intelligent person, eloquent as well, with 4 degrees, so probably 10 years of schooling, and you're working an opening shift? The math is not mathing.
despite hundreds of applications to jobs, everything, I wasn't able to get anything. I had 4 degrees, summa cum laude. I did all the internships. I had great grades. I had great experience, and no one would hire me. Absolutely no one. And I remember thinking, like, what was it all for?
You
And
heard that.
it was
Great
hard,
grades,
and
summa cum laude. That's super. I'm not sure which one is higher, magna cum laude, summa cum laude. But I just know like that takes a lot of effort. Like that means you're like one at the top of your classes. Continue on.
like, I'm not gonna lie, it really sucked. But now looking back, I can see how doing that was the start of a career portfolio for myself. I had no idea what that term was. I don't even know if it was a thing back then, but I wound up working at this gym, again, the 4:30 a.m. shift. And at the same time, I kept applying for jobs and no one would hire me full time. And so I started getting creative. How could I get experience? How could I build my resume? How could I make myself more interesting and exciting for someone to want to hire? And I wound up getting several part-time jobs at nonprofits. I was actually teaching at a community college, so college level courses while working at the gym, doing an internship, and I piecemealed all of these things together to form what I'm now recognizing was a career portfolio at the time, in order to gain experience when no one was willing to give it to me.
And what she is describing is the reality of a lot of high achieving, and when I say overachieving, A students.
And I had always thought that you get experience by getting a job that is 40 hours a week, that you can climb the ladder with, that you can grow, get better titles, better salary. But there are other ways to do it. And even if you have a full-time job right now, and maybe you're unhappy, maybe you don't see an opportunity for growth, maybe you're just thinking about what's next. There are opportunities to layer additional experience on top of your job. If you don't have a full-time job, if you've been laid off, there are opportunities to piece stuff together. It's not impossible. And it can be really heartbreaking when you don't look at it with that reframe of opportunity.
And
when you're in it, it's so hard.
If you listen closely to what she said that I was always told, I always thought that the only way to get experience is by working a 40-hour job. And then she started to get creative. And her story is the story of, like I said, the overachiever, high achieving A student. And what happens most of the time with these A students, they do very well in school. They play it by the books, and then once they hit the real world, they're like, whoa, what happened? And she even got lucky because she was able to identify or break out of that shell of being a high achiever. She has 4 degrees, so she achieves stuff. She goes super high for it. This is the unfortunate part because the A student who plays it by the books, they end up struggling in the real world. And why? Why do they end up struggling in the real world? Is because they have become very, very good at following instructions. They have become very, very good at playing in the system, which is school. They have become very, very good at memorizing things and regurgitating the information that's given back to them precisely like a robot. And that's what the system sets students up to be. They set you up to be a robot, to be a person who can't think independently, to be a person who can't be like, wait, why am I given a spelling test? Why can't I just learn how to use these words in different contexts? Or why are we learning these specific words? Why are we learning about Christopher Columbus? Why can't we learn about the history of Antarctica? Why can't we learn about the history of the continent of Africa, the history of Asia before the 1500s? Why are we given these informations? And the C students, they actually end up doing better statistically once school is said and done. But they struggle so much in school because they don't follow instructions. They break the rules all the time. They realize very early on that the effort needed to get that A, that B, far, far, far outweighs the benefits. Why? Because C's get degrees in. It's a cliche, but there is substance in that statement. If you have 10,000 liters of water, in order to get a C, it requires you to pour 500 of that 10,000 liters of water. And the water is basically energy. So you're like, okay, I now have 9,500 liters of water left, which is great. But then now you look over the hill and you're like, oh, to get that B, I need to pour 3,000 liters of water. So 10,000, I'm left with 7,000 liters of water. And then, whoa, to get the A, I need to pour 9,500 liters of water. And you're like, that only leaves me with 500 liters of water. And what can I do with that 500 liters of water? It doesn't make sense. I can't do as much as compared to if I had 7,000 liters of water or if I had 9,500 liters of water. And they recognize that pattern early on. And that's why they, as some say, are lazy when it comes to school. Another interesting thing as well is that a lot of A students, a lot of summa cum laudes, they end up becoming early bloomers. They do very well on the prodigies. They end up succeeding and get all the praise and applaud from people around them. Whereas the C student is a late bloomer, but the late bloomer oftentimes surpasses the early bloomer. Why? Because the early bloomer was given an identity, whereas the late bloomer ended up finding his identity through experience. The early bloomer was probably forced into a box and said that you're going to go to school, you're going to become a doctor. And that was the script they were given. And they excelled very well at playing that role. They became so good at playing the role that they couldn't identify the difference between that role and their identity. Once you've been playing something, doing something for so long, the mask you have on your face, it's hard to differentiate it from the face. I'm not saying this to discourage you to be lazy, but I am imploring you, advocating for you to learn about resource allocation, learn about prioritization, learn about how to think outside the box. When you really start to think outside the box, you start to see new opportunities that weren't made visible to you before.
Because you feel like things are being done to you. You did everything right, and here you are unable to make it happen. It can happen, and you can do it.
Yo, I think I'm not alone when I say this, but what the hell was my bachelor's degree for? What was it for? Like, I'm getting really frustrated. I lost a full-time job in November, and I've been working as a substitute. I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be substituting. But I'm looking for another job because substituting, of course, has 2 months where there's no school. It's part of being in the school district. And I applied for a job with a Starbucks because I thought that was a safe bet because I have 3 years experience working at a Starbucks. The interview I thought went well. I reapplied for the position because they said that, oh, every 3 months the positions pull down, they go back up, blah, blah, blah. But I'm starting to feel that I'm falling into this this trap that we're all falling into at my age right now of like, okay, I went to college, graduated. I'm in grad school, working for the career that I'm going to go for, that I'm going to like, this is going to be life, right? But now the entry level jobs don't want to touch me because I feel like I saw somebody say it on here and it totally made sense. I feel like they think I'm going to come in there and try to like run the roost or rule the roost, whatever you want to call it, and take over. Not knowing like, yo, I just need this for like 4-5 years tops, and I'm out. Never to come back here again unless life really got that hard. And then I'm underqualified for jobs that I thought my degree could get me into while I'm doing this like dual master's degree. And I'm not qualified for those. So I'm just living in this limbo world of professional life right now. And it's just frustrating me. And I didn't really know that this is what I was going to talk about today, but this is where I went. So if you feel me, let me know in the comments. If you're with me and like we went to get our bachelor's degree and we were like, woo, cool. And then now it's like we're overqualified for the low jobs and we're underqualified for the jobs that we thought we were going to be qualified for. Let me know in the comments. Because right now, I don't know what to think. So be well.
You can be overqualified for jobs that you should be qualified for, but underqualified for jobs that you should be qualified for. And that statement makes sense, but it doesn't make sense. And the fact that if you have a master's degree with only 6 months of experience, nobody's going to hire you. But they would hire the person who has 0 months of experience, 6 months of experience, but only has a bachelor's. You understand? Or if you apply for a managing position, but you only have 6 months of experience, they'd rather hire the person that has 2 years of experience, 4 years of experience, but only has a bachelor's degree. And that's what I mean, that jobs that you desire, you can't get them, but the jobs that you don't desire, but it should be easy for you to get, you can't get them. And that's the state of the job economy, job market nowadays. But yeah, that's all for today. I hope you guys have a blessed day, a wonderful day. And thank you.